Well, Western New York News Now has teamed up with the Lakewood Cinema 8 for a movie review segment. I'll go with my review on the film, and then we'll hear some reviews from theater employees. This week's movie review is The Creator. For those unaware, The Creator is a film about a future where the United States is at war with artificial intelligence. John David Washington plays an ex-Special Forces agent who is recruited to locate the eponymous Creator, the chief engineer of the AI, as well as the newest weapon they made, which has the potential to end the war. Now let's get into the review. I liked The Creator. I really did. I thought that it was a breath of fresh air. The visual presentation and cinematography was nothing short of breathtaking. One of my biggest complaints with a lot of sci-fi movies of this scale nowadays is that they are often rushed when it comes to visual effects and aren't given the time to apply the polish that makes these films look so good. And that is not a problem I had with The Creator. You can clearly tell that they took all the time that they needed to make sure that the movie looked as good as they could make it. I can't recall a single shot that looked bad. And in terms of the cast, I thought they did a great job, especially the two leads. John David Washington might not have the same intimidating presence of his father, but he has shown that he is more than capable of being a leading man in his own right. But the standout has to be Madeline Una Voles. She absolutely nailed her performance in her professional debut. She managed to perform with a subtlety that few child actors possess, and managed to do so without coming across as too stoic or emotionless. I am really excited to see where the future takes her. Another thing I really enjoyed about the film was its depiction of artificial intelligence. It very clearly took inspiration from Blade Runner and how artificial intelligence is portrayed and treated. It brings a nuance to the discussion that, while not as omnipresent of a threat as your standard hive mind, is much more narratively interesting and brings forth questions about what it truly means to be human. I also appreciated a lot of the symbology and real-world parallelisms made in the film, but that's getting into spoiler territory, so I won't get into that. My biggest complaint about the movie was that I felt the second act ran a bit long, and that it introduced some action sequences that the movie didn't really need to progress the story, but were included presumably to give it more commercial appeal. I understand their inclusion, and they were definitely fun to watch, but it could get a little repetitive and make you a bit antsy if you're engaged more so with the narrative and are interested in seeing its progression. I think if they shaved off around 20 minutes, give or take, they could have had a much more streamlined story that doesn't have the same pacing issues, but it wouldn't have had the same draw if you're looking for the action. Ultimately, though, I thought the movie was a good watch, and it makes a great addition to the sci-fi genre. But don't take my word for it. I spoke to some of the employees at the Lakewood Cinema 8 who had also seen the film to hear their thoughts on it. What did you think of The Creator?
I thought it was really well done, from the people who brought you Rogue One, same creators, right? And so I think that you can see a lot of the same imagery, colors, the color palette, like it's there. It was good.
Absolutely, and that's something that I definitely picked up on, and I'm not even a big Star Wars fan, admittedly, but yeah, you could definitely tell that there was that same care and integrity.
Attention to detail.
Exactly, that's exactly it. It was just so fine-tuned, and it looked absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the plot of the movie?
So overall, I think, it's not the first time we've seen these post-apocalypse movies, right? It's nothing original, but I did see the change of the AI. Is really nice because it's the age we're living in now. AI is everywhere. You can't go anywhere without AI and robots and technology, and it's all there. So I think that it touches on a fear that we already have, which is nice. It played out well.
And I definitely felt that it took it in a different direction than a lot of the Terminator, Skynet kind of things. You could really tell the inspiration from Blade Runner and how they portrayed everything, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you think of the cast? Any other performances?
The kid who played I can't remember what her name was. The kid who played the main character, the main AI, the savior, such a phenomenal job from a kid. Really, the cast overall was great, but the kid really was so good.
And that's something I had picked up on. I was like, wow. This is a child, and she is just performing it with such amazing tact and just ability that you really you don't expect to find from someone so young.
No, you don't expect that at all. No, but she was making all the right faces. You could see the expressions in her eyes. she did it really well. Yeah.
So did you think the movie had any downsides? Any things that could have been done a little better?
I think this is just my personal opinion, but I think that there may have been one or two too many explosions. You know, I think I could have done it. You know, because it's not. Yes, it's an action film, but it's not that. It felt like they were stepping out of their genre of action. You know, it wasn't Expendables. You know what I mean? And so I felt like there was one too many explosions.
Yeah, that was the only major thing that I had too. It felt like, you know, the second act was padded a little bit to fill in some more action scenes.
Keep your attention with the explosions.
Exactly. And I understand the commercial reason for that.
Absolutely.
Because hey, you want to make it accessible to the point where capture a broader audience. But I do think, you know, could have done a little less maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
But ultimately, I don't think that it really hamstrung the film or anything.
No.
Okay, so would you recommend it to people then?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Great movie. We'll go ahead and call it a 7 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay. So, what did you guys think of the movie?
I thought it was a great movie. It was a very different perspectives on the AI and all that other stuff.
It's definitely it's very ideal if you're looking for like, you're not looking for anything specific, you want like a good science fiction movie. It's a great movie. I mean, AI is taking over. It's cool.
So what did you think of the cast?
Oh, it was great. I think everyone played it very, very well. I loved the main characters. They really brought out true emotion in every scene.
Absolutely. So what did you think of the plot as a whole?
It was a cool plot. It was an interesting ending too. The ending was a little unexpected, but yeah.
Yeah, I like it's very relatable as well.
Absolutely. So did you have any downsides to the movie? Anything that you think could have been done a little better?
I mean,
I
no.
liked it.
If you like what you hear, be sure to stop by the Lakewood Cinema in Lakewood, New York to watch The Creator while it's still in theaters.